This from ESPN.com. Biggest post-draft questions for all 32 NFL teams. Did the Browns do enough to solidify their defensive line? Andrew Berry has hinted that the Browns could sign another free agent up front, but the Browns already have up to 6 new players in their defensive line rotation, giving them the pieces to significantly improve at stopping the run. That's true. I think more importantly I think Jim Schwartz is going to have a bigger effect. Having said that, I said earlier in the show, I think they need one long-in-the-tooth defensive edge guy that they can bring in, maybe play him 25 snaps a game, have him get 5-6 sacks a season, and then they're ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, if they do that, I think then you're kind of set. I still think, one more free agent defensive tackle would work as well. But like Al Woods, obviously there's all this stuff about, he came to Cleveland for a visit, but there was no contract offered. So who knows if that happens and if it does, when it happens. Maybe it's something, if it happens, it comes closer to training camp in that situation. But, free agent guys like Frank Clark was a name that, keeps coming up. That would be a lot. That'd be he'd have to take a significant pay cut, I think, to fill into that role for the Browns. But I think he's still got a little something left in the tank. But I think there's still plenty of good defensive ends still available in free agency. I mean, right now, you obviously have Myles Garrett, Obo Okoronkwo. I mean, you've got, half a season of legitimate high-level NFL production as a starter. I can understand, kind of wanting to see more of it before you're willing to kind of hand him the keys as a starter full-time. Then you got Alex Wright, who came into the NFL raw and showed that he was raw as a rookie, never really had any production in the past game. You got a rookie in Isaiah McGuire, who I really like, but coach is going to have to work with him technically to get him up to the level he needs to be as a potential starter down the road. So it wouldn't make sense to add another veteran body in there, a guy who's done it, preferably, I'm sure, for the Browns at a higher level, a borderline starter level, a guy who can, be that first guy off the bench, especially to take some of that pressure off of McGuire and Wright.
Yeah, I would agree. How big of a deal do you think it is that Schwartz is here? I think he kind of elevates things. I think that's what the Browns are counting on.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a pedigree for, everywhere he's been, particularly stops in Tennessee and Philadelphia. I mean, those defenses have been tremendous. They're built on pass rush. He knows what you need to cook up a good pass rush, especially in the defensive front. We know, if you have a dominant defensive line, you can really control football games more so than any other area outside of having an elite quarterback, really. And I mean, we saw, particularly the Eagles got to the Super Bowl on the back of an amazing defensive line. I think he had like 70 sacks last season, which is absolutely absurd if you think about it. And the Browns, if you compare them to the Eagles, obviously, the Browns have a comparable top-end talent, but after that, the depth is nowhere close. So it's going to be up to Schwartz and the Browns that keep identifying guys, try and get these young players developed into what he needs them to be, because if they're going to go where they need to go, it's going to be on these young defensive ends to really play up to a higher standard and to, do the things he needs to do. Because as we know, he's a guy who likes building his defenses around fronts that create pressure with just 4 guys. He doesn't like to blitz a lot. So he's going to Browns really need those young defensive ends to really step up this season.